now I just want to get into the whole bootstrapping versus funding aspect of it. So much jargon involved, so technical, it's scary, the money, the bit, everything. But we all start with nothing, right? Like every startup. So what was your initial bootstrapping strategy?
Cold brew coffee is the area that we want to be in, and the coffee market is the market we want to explore. We had no idea whether it's a box, whether it's a bottled coffee with milk, whether it's a coffee shop, where it's going to be. Am I going to sell at a retail store? So 4 months went in all of this. So those 4 months, you still have to feed yourself. You still have to kind of have a social life, figure out how you're going to survive here. So, there's small things that I think people should do is live simply. I think at that point in time. So we were living at Ashujit's parents' second home in Dwarka in the corner of Delhi. Bootstrapping to the extent where you're trying to cut down every possible expense. We had a bit of savings from our previous jobs, and that was enough to just get us by for our day-to-day life, and basic investment for the small little technical applications that you need to get your website started, or a Shopify store and all of those things. But I guess when it comes to getting your product to life, you have to raise a certain amount of money from somewhere to make those procurements, to get your packaging, to put it all together. And I think for that, we are very fortunate, very lucky to come from privileged families or good backgrounds. And we went up to our parents and this is our idea. This is what we want to do. Unlike going to an investor, there was no PPT, there was no business plan per se, but a very conversational business plan. If you can't convince your closest friends and family, how are you going to convince your customer? Or how are you going to convince an investor? The first thing that an investor also wants to see is how much skin do you have in the game? How much have you put in terms of time, energy, money? If you haven't put in any, then you don't have enough skin and they're not interested in you. So our parents were kind enough to,
But let me ask you this. Is it actually harder to convince friends and family than an investor? An investor takes a risk. They take calculated risk. They have 100 startups in their portfolio. 90% will fail. They know that. So if you actually have to approach a friend and family, is it more personal? Is it
think of it this way, think of a stubborn kid who's said, I'm not going to pursue, my career in law or my career in banking, and this is all I want to do and I'm not going to do anything else. And would you rather have me sit at home and while my time away? Or do you rather give me this little bit of seed funding to push me in the right direction? And I guess your friends, family, parents, loved ones, they understand that okay, you're determined. They do see that determination, that drive to, with respect to what you're doing, and then give you that initial push, right?
So seed funding is your the basic amount that you just start off with and you need it, which then turns into different series of funding.
Correct. Yeah.
So having said that, when was that time when you realized that we're established enough, now we want outside people, we need that big round? Is there a moment? Is there a bell that rings that shit, we need money?
So I guess for us, for the first 6 or 7 months, we were completely bootstrapped. We were trying to sell product and then use that revenue to grow and sell more product. Because none of us were drawing a salary, we didn't have employees. Packaging, cleaning, washing, everything was done by ourselves. Even deliveries when we had to. So you take on that extra load that today might seem like, it's not worth my time or energy because I have bigger fish to fry. But at that point, all the fish to fry are your fish to fry. So, we did that for the first 6 or 8 months, and we tried using the revenue, from what we were selling and putting it back into the business and growing. But then there's only so much and so far or so fast you can grow if you keep doing that. And we said, okay, we need to get to market and raise a round of investment. And how do we do this? So we were referred to a financial consultant, and this is my favorite story of all time because he said, okay, we sat with him across the table and he said, okay, what's your revenue? How much are you doing? And we were like, we're doing X. And he was like, okay, I can't make you meet any investor because you're so small, so tiny that my pushka wala might be making more than this right now. We were like, okay, that's how tiny we are. This is, he said, okay, but if you can 10X in 6 months, I'd be happy to make you meet a few people. So we had this new goal, this new target, we need to 10X our business in 6 months by hook or by crook. Hook, no crook. So we need to 10X our business in 6 months, and how do we do it? So I still remember we were sitting on a dining table in Dwarka, and we made this first business plan. We hit 10x of what we were doing, and we went back to the same financial consultant and said, dude,
here it is.
Take our mandate.
Give me the money.
Yeah, take us out and make us meet investors. So these consultants, they're like brokers.
Okay.
They don't give you the money. They introduce you to the right people.
So are these like accelerators almost?
No, this person wasn't. But yeah, we could have gone to accelerators or competitions. There are tons of ways. Like, when you're determined, like you have business plan competitions, you have accelerators, you have, mentorship from certain startups. You have a lot of methods to go about it. Courting/dating, and like you're going on like these. You're going to coffee.
You're making funding sound very, very sexy right now.
It is. No, it's actually not. It's the most unsexy process because, it's like a full-time job. In our case, we are 3 co-founders. So for one of us, Fajay, it was a full-time job to go out there every day. Yeah. So for him, it was like, the most dreadful phase because you're on the same pitch, on repeat mode, same questions every day. And, then what hurts at that point is rejection. Right? Like you're getting rejected every single day from like different people, and then you like come back with this hopeless sinking feeling of like, am I even going to raise? Am I even going to be able to grow my business further? And when you're on that process, business tends to suffer a little bit as well.
Of course.
Because you're
demotivated.
And your focus is in like all directions. But like I said, we're 3 of us, so like, we again divided our roles up, made sure that the business grew. You can't 10x and then 5x and drop, right? Because then it looks bad also. So we managed to do that. And at that point, DSG Consumer Partners had reached out to us, and they're solid brand in the consumer space. And while we managed to get a couple of offers, we said that to us, like, a strategic investment is more important than just money.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you can also, if you're very confident about your business, you can take a loan from the bank and then process that loan and like pay an interest on it, so on and so forth. But for us, it wasn't just about the money. It was about having a strategic partner on board.
Sort of even knew the brand.
Correct. Yeah. And they built other brands in similar spaces. They understand how this industry works. Right. They can open up a few doors if necessary. They know what mistakes not to make or what other brands have made, so you can avoid certain pitfalls, certain mistakes. So for us, we felt that this relationship would work out better.
Because you then get free mentorship and you get money. So it's a win-win.
It's not free, they take equity.
So selling equity is it's scary, but you have to do it to grow, right?
That's why we started with DSG. And from the growth perspective, we felt like, if we want to grow our business further, we do need to invest more in marketing. We do need to have a team. I can't be doing deliveries.
Sure.
I need to have a team that's able to do this so I can focus on sales.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
So then the team came quite later on.
The team came quite later on, yeah. In fact, we had a small team while we were in the fundraising process also. And, I guess there's this period where you run out of money and then there's money yet to come into your bank. So, and building a good team is extremely crucial because we couldn't pay salaries for, I think, 2 months and they still stood by us.
That's really
They understood that, we're on a mission. It's not just... we're not just buying and selling. It's not just a product. There's this passion that comes with what you're doing that really drives everybody and your team to work harder and stick with you.
So I think having co-founders was really helpful and keeping those relationships going. I think those two things have really helped CP out become what it is today. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much.